Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind Eminent Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about how to see the spirit behind the English language. Like I explained before, there's always an undertone or spiritual backing to anything that you see in the physical realm. As far as signs, sigils, colors, light, sound, whatever. Doesn't even matter. Now, for the most part, when we start to talk about the spirit, you need to understand this. A lot of times the spirit sees things one-dimensional. So any type of form of one-dimensional aspect here in this realm of reality that plays out physically, like as far as flat sheet of paper, drawing, and stuff like that, this is one of the closest ways we can. Kind of express our spiritual travel, our spiritual imagination. So this is why you have things like lyrics and verses being jotted down on paper or something that's flat surface, some type of artistic drawing that's being made artistically to become three-dimensional, but it's being made as an illusion first on a flat sheet of paper or a chalkboard or something like that. Things being elusive and things. A lot of things come from this kind of flatness. You understand what I'm saying? So, a lot of times our spirits see things one-dimensional. So anytime you see a person who's non-spiritual, but say there are a person who thinks super one-dimensional, like they're single-minded, single direct-minded, then this is a person whose spirit is just with the collective of their spirit group or their soul group. And their soul group may be following another spiritual group that's on their own travels, but that's not necessarily with the all. So for the most part, this is a person, everyone that's moving, anything that's moving has a soul. So right now it depends on how high or low the soul is vibrating. So how big or small your soul is. And that's going to let us know how much source you have, how much attention and pull you're going to be able to grab. So a person who's very single, direct-minded and single-minded and one-dimensional thinking, this person right here is a person who's haven't went through enough experiences spiritually in any kind of form of reality or in any kind of life to become an individual yet. So they're still on their path. They're like very young spirits or something like that. But let's get into this right now. Let's start to look at how to see the spirit behind the English language. Now, for the most part, let's start off with A. Now, this starts off our English language. So let's look at A, right? Now, what you need to understand is you're not actually looking at what they want to call it. But what you're seeing here is a pyramid, right? So we all know a pyramid is built from the top down because there's a natural frequency vibration that naturally plays when you want to make a capital A. You start it from the top down. Now this right here is what connects it. So this right here is just the line, the being. So this could be acted as a tool, a graphing tool in certain ways. This could be played out as a lot of things. So in the highest frequency vibration of A, this always going to refer to pointing to something for the first time or pointing to a reference for a first time. So for the most part, this is what starts something. So since to make it, you bring it down. That starts a pyramid. So it's always going to be correlated to the mental. So your mental, the A is proving to you that the mental is the first initial thing that points to something for the first time. So not your finger, not your drawings, not your feelings and emotions, but your thoughts, your ideas will actually point to something for the first time in order for it to start to get built. So all creations and imaginations and things that you see in the physical realm come from the imagination, come from the realm of thought, the mental. You see what I'm saying? Now, also dealing with the mental, A is always going to be referred to as the male frequency vibration. So I'm not talking about the male as the physical form, as in like you and me and male and female, but as the energy signatures. So this is always going to be referred to as that, also pointing to something for the first time. So whoever created this language was a person that worshiped the male energy deity itself. Now, I'm not talking about any physical forms. I'm just talking about the masculine energy itself. So this is where you're going. And so when you talk about A, you see the single form right here, right? Building it. Now, this is the pyramid. So the pyramid is built from the top down. So once you start to get into language and signs and spells and spelling, you have to align it with something else. So it's always going to be one thing trying to align itself with something else. Only time you see something trying to single itself out, if you only get things that's dealing with one sigil, which like you got things like I or O. You see what I'm saying? I-O. So those are the really like the only ones that's not aligning it, that's dealing with the self. So I is dealing more with the external and the self and the masculine energy, and the O is dealing with the feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? See, when you look at the I, this actually is what's starting off the language, which is the number 10. But it's really in language form, it's I-O, and it's the seed going into the womb. You know what I'm saying? Or this coming out. But either way, it's interjecting each other. And this is the masculine, and this is always going to be the feminine. So just look at these as just sigils right now. Don't look at these as language or numbers. They're just sigils. And this is the masculine, and it's going to be the feminine. So this is right brain, this is left brain. So if the right brain was the 360 and the space itself, then right brain is actually, the left brain is logically trying to shape out the right brain. So it creates the 360 form of the square. So it's causing direction and lining and sigil and language and everything that's coming out of the 360. But that's getting to another video. Now, see, now you got the A. So now that you understand the metaphysics and the spirit behind the A, you're also going to understand that it's tied to the male attribute. So when you hear things like I am or the AM, like in the morning. So when you say I, you're saying I worship man. You see what I'm saying? When you say I am, or the male or the masculine deity that this is being backed and supported of. So when you say I am and things of that nature, you're saying I'm the masculine energy, or you know what I'm saying, or I'm in the masculine energy. So be careful of not getting lost into whatever deity created that also. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure you're just looking at these as sigils and not getting lost into the language, because you'll start using words and stuff that start to correlate to manifesting this actual deity. And actually in 2, also when you get to AM, like AM in the morning, you know, AM is always correlated to the yang energy, the rising of the light, the sun, and then the light, which is the physical masculine in the physical form, right? And then when you get to PM, PM is nothing but what? A upside down B, or a thing with a womb, right? So that's dealing with the feminine energy, right? So PM, what do PM correlates to? Nighttime, you know what I'm saying? The feminine energy. So, you know, this is all the spiritual backing. See, we ain't even get the B or nothing yet. See, I'm not even gonna go through all the alphabet, but see, you see how deep just A go? That's crazy. This shit be crazy though. But look, all right, let's go to B now. So let's start with the lowercase b, right? Because lowercase a is nothing but, it'd be the opposite around, right? So it's really the line coming into existence. So the capital A will always going to be first. This is why the capital letter in front of every sentence is always going to be first. See, it's like an undertone. So when you do a capital letter of any letter, it's really just copying A, just in a lower frequency vibration, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So when you even get to lowercase a don't come to after the fact of the alphabet. After the fact, and then we made lowercase. You see what I'm saying? After all capitals. Shit crazy. It's like layering and layering and layering of lies and shit. So when we get B, we got that one aspect being going into a womb now, getting ready to be birthed. See, it created the temple, created the idea. Now, boom, it shot out, and here's again, and it's ready to be birthed. So it's still that one being, but it's like it's just doing the same thing separate from itself, but it's one being. But see, you get the womb right here, right? Now, this womb, here we get the capital, become bigger, right? So it'll be like a world within a world, right? So now we get C, and this is where it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if it's lowercase or capital. It's going to be perceived the same. If it's lowercase, that means it was the seed coming out of the bottom half. If it's a capital C, then that means it's just the whole totality of the world being hatched, the cause of something. You see what I'm saying? The cure, you know, the circumstance, you know, the 360 being expanded, being expanded, the coming out, the becoming, the coming into. You see what I'm saying? So this how that gets the spiritual backing of the B. So anytime you get anytime you use the English language word or the letter B, you're talking about the feminine energy, and you're talking, and you got the lowercase b, and you got the capital B, which is the world that's controlling the world you within. And you got the lowercase b, which is the world that you're in. You know what I'm saying? So you got somebody who can control the overall authority. This is what makes females powerful. This is what creates infinity. Also, you see the infinity. This is what creates more space. This is what creates more pyramids within this. So many different pyramids could come out of this. Many different seeds could be birthed and hatched. Now, once they get hatched, the egg get hatched. Here's where we get right here. This right here. You get something going hatched. Then this the line that gets hatched. Then it reached another limit, which is density. Dimension. You see what I'm saying? The devil, if y'all want to use that. Down, going down. You see what I'm saying? Because you came from thought, you birthed that thought into the womb, it got hatched, and it came down into dimension, into density. You see what I'm saying? So D is always correlated to down. So down. And if you want to correlate it to devil, when you make a lowercase d, right, it's nothing but the lowercase b backwards. So it's to live backwards. It's for you to go into the cycle to get birthed out into density, and just to go backwards again and do it over again with the lowercase d. Because we know lowercase came from after the alphabet being capital. Then lowercase. So then you got D down here, right? You never escape this first four phase, which will be fire, water, earth, air. What D would be earth, A will be fire, B will be water, C will be air, D will be earth. So this is why the sun deals with D, vitamin D, and all that motherfucking C. You might drink a lot of Sunny D. You need a lot of motherfucking. You might be vitamin D deficiency. Whatever the fucking case it is, you get here, but then you become a smaller seed from the idea again because you got lost into here, and then it became a lowercase d, which is the being birthed out backwards, being birthed back in here. So it's like a routine when it comes to A, B, C, and D. So we got to get out of that. But how we learn how to get out of that is what? We go to the next one, E. So see, at this time, it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or capital again. So we go to E. So when you get to E, right, this is you again. See, the line is always you. That's always the spirit. That's always when the line is drawn across. Because the spirit sees a lot of things single-minded a lot of times. Not single-minded, but first dimensional. You see what I'm saying? One dimensional. It sees things a lot in one dimensional a lot of times. That's how the spirit see it. The spirit don't like to see duality a lot of times unless it has to relate to the womb or being hatched into the body. Now when we get to E, so this is the spirit and you being in three forms after the density. You see? So you got three forms. So this is going to correlate to energy. That's what creates energy. The frequency, vibration, energy. You know what I'm saying? The three forms. So this is the energetic force of the density, of the body, of down. So, you got the lowercase e, capital, it really doesn't matter. This is the energy source, the energetic force. So everything needs energy. So when you get to the next one, right, you're going to cut the bottom in half, right? So for the energy to go on with no feet, with no legs, for it to take flight, this is the fuel. This is the fuel. The fuel comes from the energy. So when you use fuel, you don't have as much energy as you had before. But remember, we're just talking about the coming into energy, right? Which is the physical form. Now, F is utilizing the fuel of it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the fuel. So the fuel is for things to take flight, to things to fly, for this energy to fly. So when something's fly, we correlate this out of it. Once we see something flying in physical form, we get this G type of sigil, which is, you see the spiral now. This is the spiral. This is the 6. This is the 9. This is the gas. You know what I'm saying? This is the 3, 6, 9. This is the gas. This is the spiral into all this. So anybody who even can't escape the 4, or people who even do understand the energy and it takes fuel to have gas, to have, you know what I'm saying? They still understand the spiral, but they understand how to leave the spiral. They're not connected in this whole spiral. They understand how to leave it. But it's the G. You know what I'm saying? The G, and that goes down to a lot of different things. You know, y'all want to correlate to God, or, you know, gotten, or you got something, or gas, or something's being guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? That's guaranteed flight right there. You know? Because this is the actual, and it can even lead into gas particles itself. This is the actual first shapes and forms we can see coming from fuel, coming from energy. You know what I'm saying? This is the first physical form that we can see of the energy we couldn't see coming from all this other shit. You see what I'm saying? How it's building. So it's like a whole thing, like. And then if you want to go to lowercase g, that means you being a mini God. So you creating that spiral to come back. And you want to control all of these again. You want to control all of these languages again. So you'll use the little g. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of things that go with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like H, we can look at H. H is once you do that, once you become that little g, right? You start to relate that to others. So once you got the lowercase, that's you curving others. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have a womb, but you are able to hold others under that like it is a womb. So it becomes like a chair or a high seat or an authority. And when you get capital H, which came first, it was initially you relating your ideas that you did all this from to a other who may not be necessarily under that doctrine. So you know what I'm saying? Once it get to what came second was the lowercase, it appears that you on a high seat and you sitting up under all these people that you put up under in this fake womb. That ain't even a womb. It's just a layering that you built to your hot seat. And see, it goes deep. Like, see, it's this the spirit behind the English language. And if you spiritually inclined, you could keep this going. But you know, every language doing this. That's why when I'm done with my language. I haven't presented it yet, but my language is about starting from the center and bringing it out. And then once you create your square out, create your 360, and that becomes your diary, your 360 diary of what you want to come within. And you got levels of world in it. You got sigils. Nothing is language or numbers. They are sigils, which numbers and language came out of anyway. So you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of languages that started writing to the left. Now you got ones that's writing to the right, like the English language. But for the most part, it's truly supposed to write from the center and out and spread out the way how a flower spread out, or the way like how the sunshine spread out, because the spirit is always within, in the middle, is always in between, and what comes out of it may be a lot of shards and shades and lights and colors, but truly the manifestation of the physical forms of that truly don't come till later. But that's up to you to imagine and create that. So this is how we supposed to be writing, how we supposed to be thinking, how we supposed to be analyzing, how we supposed to be eating, how we supposed to be doing everything. We supposed to be doing what best correlates to us in general. Then how it best relates and apply to the realm we are in, and then that creates perfect synchronicity. Flight bus, bitch, goddamn air. And that's what these motherfuckers be trying to do, but they're trying to control y'all with using their way of doing it, and their way of doing it be fucked up. Like, just imagine a nigga who just created A himself might have been a fucking fag. You know, you don't even know. You see what I'm saying? Flight bus, bitch, goddamn air.